I'm a breast cancer survivor with post-surgery, post-chemotherapy, radiation, rehab surgery, recovery surgery, and I'm at a place in my life where I still get treatments and need surgeries and need other medical things to be done to me as a result of breast cancer. But my primary source of aggravation and sadness is the billing system that it's catching up with me day by day, because I was an insured person working a job, even worked through my chemo, worked through my radiation when I could, paying my premiums at my job, and I didn't have enough coverage. And so now I am hounded by the hospital, who didn't accept the insurance I had and wants thousands upon thousands of dollars. Now, I'm not well all the time. As I say, I'm post-surgery, post-breast cancer, and pray I never get any more cancer, who's just living in a pile of bills like this, 3 phone calls a night, no lie, at least 3 phone calls a night from the collectors. Even the collection agencies now that the hospitals have sent after me are now saying lawyers are gonna. So I'm trying to pay $25 a month to these guys, $25. It's thousands upon thousands.
Describe to me, as much as you want to, physically what has happened to you.
Well, after I found my tumor in my breast, which was not that the size was tremendous, it was a large stage 1. It was a type of cancer that was real nasty. It's called estrogen positive cancer. And after I had the tumor removed from the breast, they had to, what I like to call a roadside mastectomy. You know, you're in the morning and you're out 8 hours later, to have a partial mastectomy.
This has got to hurt.
Where? Everywhere.
I mean, just your description of this, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I mean, you really get, I mean, it's like a soldier. Every war battle you go into, if you get hit by a bullet or shrapnel, you're going to get scarred. And every time I've been to a treatment, I have been battle scarred. That's what I look at it, like I'm a soldier. Because they cut you, they x-ray you, they ray you, they chemo you, they radiate you, it's just, but I'm one of the lucky ones, I can't say anything more than that. My attitude is what keeps me going.
Did you think that you had a safety net insurance-wise in the beginning?
Yes. I've been paying premiums my whole life. I have insurance. I had a job, not understanding how much breast cancer, any form of cancer really costs. So I thought I was fine. I didn't understand my limits of my policy were going to kick me in the butt later on, because it wasn't enough to cover my treatments.
Now, before you were diagnosed with cancer, if you went to, for some other medical reason, was there copay and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, large copay, $45, but everything was doable. But the funny thing is, I got the diagnosis of cancer 6 weeks into my new job and my new health insurance. And because I was carrying the COBRA from my other job, I was doubly covered for a little while when cancer came. But then when I gave up the COBRA, because heck, I got a new job and new health insurance, that's when it all hit the fan.
So it was a surprise to you to find out that what you thought was a pretty strong safety net wasn't.
Correct.
On top of it...
Maybe I was uneducated about health insurance, but my ceiling was way too low. What do they call it when you
max out? What was it?
What was it? It was $100,000, which now I know is bupkis. And when I renewed my policy at work in the open enrollment, of course, the second choice was $300,000. So I chose that. But everything was, how much can I afford out of my paycheck every month? But I knew I had to go for the step up. But even if you think of it, $300,000 isn't so much either for cancer.
Did you find it surprising when you changed jobs that you were able to get insurance?
No, because I constantly paid the COBRA. All the time. I never had a break in coverage. Thank God my father taught me well about that one small fact.
Now, did your new employer know about your situation?
Yep. I told her. I said, look, I want to have a nice environment. I am a cancer survivor. I'm rocking. I'm here to go. I'm here to work. And she said, oh my God, you're so energetic. You're hired. But I've learned through having cancer, having had cancer, and surviving. It's a big word to me, survivor. Survivorship. I'm a survivor. My T-shirt says it. I say it. I want to spend the rest of my life having less aggravation from everybody. And I want to give more joy to the rest of the world. We have very limited time on this earth, and boy, you get kicked in the head when you're diagnosed with cancer and you realize it.
And then you discover that insurance is not going to make you as protected as you thought you were. So at a certain point, what goes on in your head? Do you say, well, I'm going to just go ahead and get every treatment I made and deal with the money later? I mean, how do you deal with that?
Well,
you haven't.
When you're sick, that's the only choice you have. You can't even answer the phone. And that's what all support groups and people tell you that you must do. You must get well and take care of your health through the nasty treatments of chemo and all that stuff to get well enough to deal with it. So here I am, well enough to deal with it, but what I'm dealing with is getting deeper and deeper and more horrific. Somebody told me, oh, well, you should have just called the social worker at the hospital. They would have helped you. I didn't know. Nobody guided me through this. I went on the websites. I investigated my own self to get funding and help, but because I had health insurance, I could not get any grants. Yeah, I could not get any grants. I could not get any help with prescriptions. I researched as much as my little sick body would let me sit on the computer, and then I just gave up. And I said, let the phone calls come. I have a machine. Let the bills come. I have a desk I can put it on.
And then the craziness too. I mean, as I'm listening to you describe this, here you were so careful about having the insurance, keeping yourself covered, etc., through all this time before you were sick, and now it's sort of come around and snagged you from behind because of the fact that you do have it. You can't qualify to get help.
Exactly. I can't find help. I mean, this sending $25 here and there is ludicrous for me, but I kept trying to show good faith, and that's all they wanted to see was good faith, but my bills are outstanding.
What do you think you owe now?
$65,000 to plus every day I go for more tests and hospitalization, so it goes every day. It builds with every test I take. So I must be up to about $65,000, $75,000.
So if you get a bill for $10,000
Yes.
for a chemo treatment or something like that, and what can you do? What do you do? Send them $25?
No, you add it to the pile. The hospital's billing department will send you a date of service letter. On this date, you had incurred $10,381 worth of service. If you do not pay, we will blah, blah, blah. Of course, send it to a collection agency. Well, that happens every day. The collection agency also calls me, so I have a relationship with them too.
And how often do they call you?
Well, after I yelled at them for calling me at my office at work, I said, lose this number. How dare you leave a message on my machine when my staff comes in to listen to my messages at times? How dare you? I said, lose this number. And the woman was very genteel about it. We apologize. But they have my cell phone and they have my home phone. So they're calling me maybe weekly, every 2 weeks. They're much less than the hospital.
So you don't feel that your treatment has been negatively affected by this insurance mess?
So far, I just recently, this week, as a matter of fact, did get a bill from my oncologist, which is the doctor I must keep in the fold of payment. And it's the first time I ever received such a big bill. Okay, so now I have a chore to do to find out from that billing department why that bill is so high. It's never been. So they say with cancer, you just must make sure the doctors of choice that are treating you are always paid. You got to keep them in the loop. So I don't know.
Yeah. How has this affected your life, the day-to-day existence? You and your husband and the things that you can do financially, physically. I mean, clearly there have been massive changes.
Yeah, massive.
What's worse, the financial scary stuff? Well, the physical stuff's got to be a lot worse than that.
You know what? All is said and done, we're all going to die, and we're all going to die with bills having to be paid. I'd rather live figuring out how I'm going to pay for those bills. You know, my primary source is to wake up every day, put my feet down on the ground and say, okay, thank you, God, I got another day. But when that day is filled with trying to stay healthy to get through the job, to come home, the next job is the bills. It's a double whammy. I mean, I have to work. Most Americans have to work. That's fine. I'm cool with that. But this other thing, I have stayed up nights faxing. I have gone to bed past my health bedtime. I get phone calls at work, on the cell phone. I mean, it's just not, it's not right. But, you know, they got their agenda. It's to collect money from me that I don't have. And when you ask about spending, you can't spend what you don't have. And I told somebody recently, you know, I used to say when the senior citizens, and it was in the news and everywhere, that they had to make a choice between paying for their groceries and paying for their medication. Well, guess what? I'm in the same boat now.
Do you have retirement funds?
I wouldn't call it retirement funds. I have funds to put gas in the car. My 401k it's negligible, especially in this day and age. You know what's happening. I'll work hard, even through being sick, to do what I have to, but there is nobody to ask. Everybody's in the same boat. And to tell you the truth, for somebody who's been paying for premiums, this should have been resolved already. I had insurance.